Welcome to Money Convos, where we discuss personal finance and investment tips. We're committed to helping people create wealth and achieve financial freedom. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. All right then, let's head into today's conversation.
Hi everyone. Hi Nana Preku. Always a pleasure seeing you here. Sarah, I've sent you a request to join us up here, so check your notifications or request a mic. Hi Danielle. If you want to join us, hey, feel free. Come up here. Let's hear your voice. Hello Sarah, how you doing?
Hi, Elikem. Hi, I'm good. How about you?
I'm great. Just enjoying this relaxed Sunday. Hi Mimi, how you doing?
I'm well, Elikem. How are you doing yourself?
Charlie, I'm good. Yeah. And Mimi, a belated happy birthday to anyone who didn't see Saram's post or investment friends post on social media. This week we had Mimi's birthday, so we are celebrating her all week long. Mimi, did you do anything special on your birthday that is allowed to be shared on the internet? Mimi, if you are speaking, you are muted. Okay, I guess Mimi is occupied. We'll circle back to the birthday matter in a bit. Okay, great. So today we are having an interesting conversation, and this is something that hit me some time back. And there are two words that I've been thinking about, the job market, how things go on in Ghana. At Money Convos, we want to help people to be financially independent, right? And it always has to start from having a job, having a source of income. We are thinking, how can people get jobs or find jobs in this country? That's Ghana. And two words came to mind: connections and networking. From a developed market or outside of Ghana, I know what networking is. But it seems like in Ghana, networking is different from something else that goes on. We have a different word that we use: connections, right? And it feels like if you don't have those connections, you can't even acquire those connections. It's a very tricky concept. It's either you are born with it or you are not, or you are inducted into that kind of privilege in some weird way. So people may not know. So we want to enter this matter today and see if there's a difference between connections and networking, and see which one is more applicable, which one should you strive for, or if they're the same thing, well, what do we do about it? So yeah, let's get right into it. Sarah, are you there?
Yeah, Elikem. Hi, I'm here.
Wonderful. So Sarah, in your experience, and actually I know that you've moved around a bit, so you've found new jobs quite often. I got one employer, apart from internships during college, one employer that I stuck with throughout my career. You've moved around a bit, so you may know a thing or two about this. What is connections, and is it different from networking? I think we all know what networking is, but maybe if you can define the two of them for us in a Ghanaian context and see if there's a separation or not.
Elikem, how do I respond to this? So I feel like networking opens door for the connections. So the networking sounds a bit more formal. Yeah, so I would say that within our parents' networks, we are connected, for instance, right? So it goes hand in hand. Networking means that you get to meet people, you deliberately or intentionally get to meet people or surround yourself with people that could help your cause, that you have you could have mutually beneficial relationships from. And then from those networks, you build connections, and those connections are what would set you apart, or what will elevate you. And connections, it doesn't have to be in jobs. There are also instances where you don't need you don't need to network, you just need to be connected, meaning that someone has already done the networking for you, so the person has to just connect you. So then I feel like the connection could be a third person thing, but then the networking, it's direct, you broadening your net, or making meeting new people who would aid your cause. But then connections, it could be third party, you connecting someone to someone, like how I got my passport in days, even though Mimi had applied for hers for months. It was connection.
Oh, okay, Mimi. I said, no, Sarah, this exposes the whole concept to me very well. Now I understand it. The way you've explained it, connection is the end result,
Yes.
and networking is the work you have to do to get those connections.
Thank you.
And
Thank
you also
you.
said sometimes you don't have to do the networking to get those connections.
No. So
Okay,
as it
okay,
stands
okay.
now, we are building networks so that our children will be connected. They don't have to do the work.
Oh, okay. Oh, then it's nothing strange. When you put it this way, I understand it. Oh, Charlie, this is why you are such a good teacher for the investment friend web series. On this note, if anyone is interested in learning more about financial literacy and stuff, you listen. See the way Sarah broke this thing down for us nicely. Just go on Instagram, follow at investment_friend. Okay. And over there, you see Mimi and Sarah breaking down complicated concepts for us. Right now, see me. I'm here, and she's opened up my understanding so much. And it's not just for you. Share it so that people would know about this. Okay. Wow, I'm learning a lot from teacher Sarah. This is great. Okay, so it's nothing strange there then, but you see, let me play devil's advocate or push it a bit. You see, when I understand networking, at least how it's done in other countries, it's usually either on merit or on relationships. When I say merit, it's because, okay, you've worked hard to be in a certain school or to get a certain job or to be in certain circles. And just by being around those people, you can form connections with them, or you can speak about, oh, maybe a professor invites, or somebody invites top 20 students. Like I'm talking about, like a growth of a career from school to starting to work, right? And they say, oh, this person is really brilliant. Or by merit again, you're an industry leader. You do very well at your work. Let's say Adam, for example, a good surveyor, and people will say, oh, Charlie, this guy, he did some work for me. He did some costing for me. Everything went well. Go and see them. You understand? Just like that, on merit. Or also like interest. Maybe you go bowling with somebody, or you go playing golf with somebody, and all these things, they build those connections for you. That's the networking. And then the social part, maybe how you can yob when you're among people, how you can talk to them nicely, make them feel warm, make them share certain aspects of their personal life a little with you and be eager to talk to you another time, right? That's also networking. But it seems in Ghana, the kind of work that you have to do to get the connections, you can do these things that I've said above, but some other things, sometimes it's brown envelope that does the networking for you. There are some other things that you need to do to get these kind of connections. Sarah, have you observed those other activities beyond the ones I'm talking about?
To some extent, right? I think Mimi and I were having this conversation, a similar conversation, on her birthday. And you meet, and there are certain programs that we said we want to go for the purpose of networking. But then the issue is that you can be part of these groups, and you will still not be connected. You still feel like an outsider. So how do you become connected? It means that you have to now be doing things like and you have to laugh at jokes that aren't funny, and all this, carry somebody's bag. You have to go the extra mile. The other things, yes, it depends on the context. So I know that people pay for, like, I think services like passport, blah blah blah, all those things. But you need to, it's not enough to just yes, sometimes just be within the network, but you have to be intentional about it, and which sometimes you just have to kiss us. Yeah. So that's the part that I know about.
Okay, so sometimes you just have to kiss ass. All right. Good. Okay. So I think something we need to talk about during this is how to build these connections, especially for a Ghanaian context, right? How to build these connections and how to manage these connections well. So after you've got a connection, what do you do? We need to talk about those things. But I want to hear Mimi's perspective on this before we start getting strategic. Mimi, how are you doing? Are you still enjoying the birthday?
Actually, the birthday finished after I consumed the kinky.
So I clear right now.
I click right.
Okay, all right. So you had the conversation we are having. What's been your experience of connection versus networking?
I well, Sam explained it differently, but connection. When someone talks about connection in Ghana, normally it feels like something that you've not like. It feels
You've not
like an
worked for.
unmerited kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like you deserve to go and stand in the queue, but somebody is sorting you out and circumventing the process. So that's how connection feels like. But I also like how Seram explained it, because you can network, but doesn't necessarily mean that you are connected. And the need to go the extra mile when it comes to developing a network, because you want a relationship that's mutually beneficial. You don't just want to be taking. If you position yourself that way, you may not get the best out of the relationship. But normally when we say connection in Ghana, it's normally like, what we mean is it's unmerited. Like I said, you go to the passport office. This is the process. You should sit in the queue, wait. There's on, but you find a way of circumventing the process. Then we say you are connected. You know. So for me, um, have I? Yeah, I think in Ghana, if you don't want to be frustrated, definitely you would have paid one or two people to do certain things. Is it good? I don't know. That's a whole debate, but that's what I understand by connection.
Oh, I like the explanation Mimi has given, and it's more of where what I would have leaned to in the beginning, where it's when people talk about connections in Ghana, it sounds more like privileges or favors that people have received that they do not deserve. And to we know there are certain people in certain positions that we know that Charlie, this person, whether they have a degree is even another matter. But the kind of role that they've been given, high ranking role that they've been given, well, so yeah, that's the kind of connotation we have about connections. So yeah, it's something that we need to pay attention to, know where our strengths is at. It's like I said from the top, like if you're born with it, you're born with it. If you are born with a certain name as your last name, or you are from certain towns, Charlie, some way, it will open up for you. Maybe it's talking about whether it's good or bad, right? There's something I've observed, and as Sarah, maybe you can relate to this. I've realized that as somebody with an Ewe name, my father is Ewe, all right. After all the social studies that I went through in Ghanaian education, I realized that maybe I shouldn't align with any particular tribe because of nepotism and all those things. So I just like to say my father is this, my mother is this, and me, I'm just Ghanaian. But I've noticed that when an Ewe person notices that you are also an Ewe, the favors that you receive, the extra gobe that you will get, I'm telling you, that is the proper connection. You all you had to do was to be born to somebody, get some name like that, and then you get those kind of benefits. Sarah, have you ever received any of those Ewe benefits?
Oh yes, there ever benefits. So there are times where, so ideally, when I go to a certain place, I try not to, I don't start off by speaking ever, because evers do that a lot. I don't. They will immediately start switching. I don't start, but then when I realize that probably is a public institution, and I realize that it will go in my favor, I would immediately switch. And immediately you switch, hey, nye bro. It works like magic. So yeah, I have. And before I go there, I just wanted to add something. A phrase came to mind. So connection, so networking is who you know, right? A connection is who knows you and is willing to help.
Oh, more bars, more bars. Who knows you and is willing to help? That is the connection. And you, the networking there is who you know. Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, all right. And just thinking about this, the benefits that we can get from certain connections, I think there are also some disadvantages to some of these connections. For example, we all know that some people from certain tribes don't like people from other tribes. So even though on one hand you'll be receiving certain benefits, on another hand you'll be getting discriminated against. So the kind of connections that we need to be careful about them. We will get some more into the disadvantages of connections and drawing certain lines. So,
Elegant, that is so true. Sorry.
sure.
That's so true, because at this point, I'm contemplating whether to go back to my maiden name or not, because
Oh my.
my husband is Oforiata. You enter anywhere and you mention Oforiata, and hey, there's an assumption is made. It doesn't help that he's from Oda, but there's no relation. He's an Achim, but there's no relationship with the famous Oforiata. So at this point, that even on the political terrain, right, I feel like it would, in fact, it may go against you if there's a new government and I have to go and I need certain doors to be open to me. And then, what is your name? Sarah Muforiata. I feel like the doors will just be shut.
Charlie
That's
Seram, this
for
is the
another day.
moment. This is the moment I need Edem to come and give me some sound bites. You go
So
explain
on that,
tiger. You go
my name
explain
is
tiger.
Sarah Aku Indinya.
Hey,
Back to my roots.
Deny your husband, pa.
you know, and what you're saying is quite true. And I've met a lot of people with the last name Ufuriata who are of no relation. So but well, when things were going okay, they got certain benefits. They just got people would just leave them alone or just garner some favor with them. But now that things have gone south, yeah, it's a different situation. So yeah, works both ways. Interesting. Reminds me of I think was it one of our former heads of states or heads of government, Hilary Man, some years ago. Is he the one after he was ousted? I think I heard about people, some of his family members having to change their name. I may be wrong, but then some of these things would happen when there's loss of power. You would have to think about changing your name even before they lose the power. Even before there's a possibility of change of power. Saram's thinking about changing her name. So as you can see, it's very risky. High risk, high reward. Okay, great. So let's look at a scenario where we are having this conversation, and for most of us, we don't have those kind of connections. All right. We personally, I have benefited a lot. My mother, in her youth, and even up till now, she's been good at networking. So she's been in certain places that she knows certain people, or she can go into a room and make friends with people. So I've benefited a lot from that. That's great. But not everyone may have had that. Maybe your parents were introverts, or they weren't born into certain circles or something. So you are not yet benefiting from the connections. All right. How can we, at this point, put ourselves in a position where we can build networks and then benefit from those kind of connections? Any thoughts about this? And anyone in our audience can just send me a message about your ideas about, or reply to this tweet, the tweet for this space, about how you think we can build those networks and connections. All right. We'll start with Mimi. Mimi, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think we've said it time and time again that the people you surround yourself with are important. So I believe that it's not everyone you have to network with. You have to sit down and put down who you want to connect with and why you want to connect with the person, and probably how you can also add value. So, well, there was somebody I really wanted to know, and so I used to follow the person's activities on social media quite a lot. I wasn't stalking the person though, but I was just interested in whatever the person was doing. So one day I saw a flyer that he was going to be at a rich church, and this was like at 6 p.m. ish on a Saturday. I just sat in my Yaris then and drove straight from Achimota to reach the church, and then stayed till the end. And I think I helped the person, went for another program he was on, helped him sell his stuff for nothing. Like just kept on following, helped him, following, helped him. And that's how the person became part of my network. And the person has reached out to me a number of times for a job, but it was mutually beneficial. While I was sitting in and learning from him, I was also helping him out with certain things like selling his book or doing one thing or the other. So it was a good way of not just knowing that, oh, this is Mr. A or Mrs. A, but connecting with the person and also giving the person a feel of who you are and what you are about.
Oh wow, that's a very powerful story. Helping out, you mentioned being deliberate about who you surround yourself with or who you want to connect with and why, and knowing the value you bring so that it can be a mutually beneficial experience. So that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, all right. Let's see. Mimi, sorry, Sayram, how about you? Any more suggestions?
Well, personally, I am first to admit that I've been terrible with network. I not say terrible, but I wasn't very intentional about networking. But now that has changed. So now I'm trying to be a lot more deliberate and intentional about networking. So thank God for opportunity platforms like LinkedIn, that now almost everybody is on LinkedIn. And so if you see someone, you want people that align with your personal goals and vision, or where you want to get to, and you see people who are already in it or doing similar things, it starts from engaging with their posts and following them, not stalking them, engaging with their posts, sending outrightly sending a message on LinkedIn, but it's not hello, then for you to now wait for a response. If you are shooting your show, you just send that concise message straight up, and then yeah. So and then going for these like these other professional organizations. So for instance, there's a group that I want to be a part of. I'm planning on being a part of next year, Executive Women Network. So I know that there are people, like there are elite people there, and these are people I want to include in my network. So what am I going to do? I'm trying to be a member, to become at least an associate member next year, so that it's sort of a foot in the door for me to be surrounded by some of these people. Yeah.
That's nice. You've given a solution to the introverted people who may not want to um, get in people's faces in person. There's LinkedIn there, and I like that point that you mentioned. Let me just reiterate. Please don't send hello, don't send hi. No, this is no WhatsApp. Directly, two sentences. Oh, hi, this is what I'm interested in. I hope you are good. This is what I'm interested in talking, connecting with you. Boom, boom, boom. If you want to set some time, or ask for some time to talk to them a little. Maybe some 10, 15 minutes. Great. Okay, great. Mimi, you want to add on to this point?
Yeah, Seram said she hasn't been networking, but I disagree. Seram knows everybody in this world. So I disagree with her.
Hey, then Sarah, the kind of network that you want to build, yeah, maybe
Eh?
because you've not reached Dangote, you
Okay.
think you've not achieved anything. Please, the people you know
I
in
think
Ghana. Maybe you were
it's
saying,
like more of a. Can you hear me?
yeah, broke for a
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, I can
I
hear
think
now.
what she's talking about mostly is a more formal, you know, networking arrangement. But anytime you get to meet people, it's an opportunity to network. So it doesn't necessarily have to be um, an organization that is set out for that. I was listening to this podcast, I think it was about sales, and the guy was saying that when you join these groups like Rotary and those kind of what do you call those groups? These groups at the back of everybody's mind, we are coming to network or want to sell to each other or want to do something to each other, you know. But any opportunity you get to meet people, it's a good opportunity to network and to just create a connection, you know, with those people. So it doesn't really need to be formal. That's why I said that Sarah knows a lot of people and she has a big network. Just to add.
Okay, nice. Yes, Sarah, please, do you have any rebuttal? Do you still disagree that you have a big network?
Although, if you put it in that context,
Now you see, we
I
still can learn from you.
I think so.
Aha.
I think so because people claims I know people. Usually, anytime she met someone within the industry, yes, it's because it's a small industry. Yeah, I once we are in an industry and then we go for such events like workshops and all that, I'm usually the type to walk up to you, hello, hi, I'm with Temple, blah blah blah, 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 blah. Just or hi, you have a very nice bag or something, just to break the ice, and I can do those things. Just so maybe
Okay. That's good. That brings up another point about the work, right? I just want to finish up on the. Oh no, we talked about the LinkedIn for the introverts, and again, I just want to reiterate it because a lot of people are uncomfortable with that, and when you do that LinkedIn thing, you are just engaging with people's posts, like the same way you are scrolling on Instagram and you're liking things. Scroll on LinkedIn, like something, read the posts. If you can comment, but remember, it is a professional thing. Treat it as if it's a memo you are writing to your manager, because people will see it. If you have to comment, make sure that you write formally with good grammar and in a positive light. So don't be negative in those kind of settings, right? And then if after engaging with someone for a while, you've sent a connection request, especially like connection requests, people are not so comfortable accepting everyone's connection request. For me, I'm comfortable accepting everyone's connection request for the next 1.5 years. I feel like I've been privileged to be in certain places that if anyone wants to connect with me, I'll allow them without question. As long as you are of African descent, I'll agree to accept it. Or if you are other, if you send me a connection request with a message telling me why you want to connect, great, I'll do that. So I'll accept it so that I can open some doors for people. Keep the door that I've walked through. I keep it open for people, right? So people are willing to do that on LinkedIn. Some people are not. But shoot your shot, right? Always when you are sending a connection request, as much as possible, send a short message. Let them know why you are connected. You'll be more impressive that way. You'd be surprised. And it's sometimes the little things that you do that will make you stand out. So you can have a go-to message, you just go and copy and paste it every now and then. But when you are copy and pasting, the number of times people have called me Kwame or Kofi or some other name is just funny. At least call me by Kwesi. That one you see is right there. But anyway, it just shows that they didn't pay attention, right? Because when you make a mistake, that then you detract from all the positive that you're trying to bring. And every now and then, just ask for 10 minutes of their time. Some people may not be willing to, but that's how you build the reps. And I think it's really important because there's a certain skill that many people don't have. And I'm talking about, I've been in places, like I've been in Well, I'm in Cornell University, so in Ivy League environments, right? Top MBA schools. But whenever issues come up about an interview, it shocks me how people are so intimidated by doing interviews. I'm like, guys, like, don't you talk to strangers? It's something that you have to build our rep. There's this one, whether you're introverted or you are not. And in fact, I think the definition of introverted is not necessarily that you just don't like talking to people. No, it's about your energy levels, or we'll leave that to the psychologist. But regardless, you can't get a job without interviewing, unless it's your father's job. You get me? You need to start building that, and that's by talking to strangers. Hosting money convos for more than 2 years has helped me. MCing programs has helped me. Just speaking has helped me, right?
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Not everyone will have such a platform, but if ever you can get a chance to talk regularly with your friends, just talk among your boys or your girls, just have conversations about something a bit intellectual. It builds the reps. In your office, talk to somebody from a different department about something a bit serious. It gets you to a stage where you become less and less afraid, to a point where when you are going to talk to somebody, you just don't care. Like during the summer, I was working on something and we had a conversation with we were having a meeting, and then the COO, the chief operating officer of a Fortune 500 company, who was my client, walked into the room and he started having a discussion with us. And later I was talking to my team members about how that meeting went. And they were like, wait, you had a meeting with the COO? Like, people work in this company for 20 years and never get to talk to such a person, right? But I didn't see it as a thing because I've had many of such conversations, and it's just another human being. What's the worst the person can do to you in that kind of situation, right? So start building those reps, get out of your head, and you realize that they are just another human being. Of course, don't mess it up. That's a different story, but build the reps and you'll be fine. Mimi, you want to chip in here? Hi, Mimi. If you're speaking, you're muted. Okay, I'll circle back to Mimi.
Oh, sorry, Elikem, what was the question?
No, I saw your hand up, so I was just wondering if there was something you wanted to say.
Yeah. I was trying to say that for those of us who are introverted, I believe I'm introverted. We need to have.
Master.
Oh, Elikem, it's true. It's true.
I'll just tease it here. Please go ahead.
Yes, I think that I was sharing with Sayram. Growing up, I was very introverted. In fact, people used to ask me whether I talk. But what I realized was my superpower was having an agenda, knowing why I am going to, like, I need to meet this person. And that became my fuel. So I'm just thinking that as introverts, yes, sometimes we really just want to stay in our corner and think about ourselves, right? But if you have a clear agenda, or if you have a very strong and compelling reason why you need to meet someone, I think it makes it easier to, to walk up and talk to that person. So rather than just walking up to anybody, just try and have a very strong reason, and hopefully that would give you some energy to walk up to them. I don't know. That's what works for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. And just to tack on to that, like, have just, even if it's just one question you are curious about, maybe because you know a bit about this person's background, and you say, you know what, hi, say, like, nice to meet you. I like your speech, but I've followed you for a bit, and I'm just curious about this thing. When you were in this kind of situation, what were you thinking, and how did you solve it, or how did you think through the process of coming to a solution? Just that point, you see. Just one simple question you ask, you'll be surprised. And from what I know about Ghanaians like to talk. All you have to do is just ask one question. And if it's a good enough question, that exposes, it's not a simple yes or no answer kind of question. They will be willing to talk. And then, especially if it's coming out of something positive, or they are thinking about their times in the trenches, you send them back memory lane, and they'll be so grateful for you for asking, and they'll tell you so much. And you'll be surprised. These are some of the questions that someone will say that, oh, you're actually an intelligent person. But meanwhile, what did you do? All you did was ask a question. They did all the talking, yet you came out of that situation seeming like an intelligent person. So, like, just tacking on to Mimi, have even just one question you want to ask. Good question. and you are good to go. Yeah, that would make a world of difference for you. I want to mention another point. I was talking to someone recently. I know the person through Money Convos. He reached out. He's on the broadcast list, and he was like, "Yo, I want to have a conversation with you." I'm like, "Sure." We're talking. He's thinking about some career options for himself and some business options, and something came up, and he was saying that something he struggles with is talking to people. Ask him a simple question: what kind of organizations are you a part of? Or even before that, do you go to church? Especially for Ghanaians, it's really simple. I know that these days people don't go to church as much. Heck, myself, I don't go to church. You understand? I haven't been to a proper service apart from wedding and funeral in a minute. You know, but I would say that some of these social organizations that we have existing, even if you won't go for the religious benefits, go for the social benefits. Attend church for the social benefits. This person has a problem with speaking. He feels like he speaks too fast because he's not too confident. If he speaks slowly, he'll make a mistake. Boss, simple. Start reading in church. When I was in University of Ghana, I was attending LIC. I used to be a reader for the student service, and it helps build confidence. Stand in front of a whole what's it called, room full of people, like 100, 200 people, and speak without fear of making a mistake. You realize that, Charlie, who can't you talk to? Sometimes when you get there, you realize that you zone out. You make a mistake, right? You don't even care. That's the point you want to get to, where you build so many of these reps. While you are in church, who are you talking to? Are you an usher? If you are shy, you will just go and be an usher. Just welcome people. Just point them the way. Don't even talk too much. Just say hello, welcome. The things that they'll tell you to do. Just do that, right? Church is the easiest way you can start with the networking. I think we need to take advantage of those things. And if you don't attend church, then you need to start thinking about another place that you can be speaking. And I'll now divert to like your experts. Build a certain expertise, or even before building expertise at work. Who do you talk to at work? Do you just talk to the people around you? No. At this point, be strategic about when you go for lunch. You see, just you go for lunch and just join in conversations with people. Just go for these events. When I was starting out my career, doing my national service in the first few years into it, everyone's event, as long as it came via email and it was public, I would attend. I would attend funerals. Sometimes I'll go to funeral of somebody in a department I don't know anyone. And I'll just go and I'll be walking around. But they'll say that, oh, all people of this company come and take picture. Or oh, they have a group of chairs for us. Then you go there and then you're just around people. You see and be seen. Someone will talk to you. Just put yourself in those kind of positions. You understand? And also sometimes funeral jollof is really nice. There's that too, right? But then again, one of the things that I really respected, one relationship I respected early on was when I was doing my national service. There was someone in a different department, and he was getting married in Takrady. And that was like a 7-hour drive to Takrady in a bus. And they organized the bus for the people in the company to go. And we went for that wedding. And this guy was shocked that I came. When he came back, he thanked me for coming. And this is somebody who was like 5 years my senior. And if you know, like when you're starting work, someone 5 years your senior feels like a grandfather, So some years ago, when I was getting married, that time his father had died, and his father's funeral was the same day as mine. This man, who is way senior to me, came to me in my department and said, "Oh, my brother, I would have loved to come for your wedding. But Charlie, my father's funeral is that day. It's the family that organized it. And I also know that, Charlie, people from the company may not come to your wedding, but they will have to come for my funeral. So I'm sorry, and I wish I could have been there." And I sat there like, wow, these little things, you never know. And it also brought me, in this person's eyes, respect professionally. You see, because now he pays attention to the work I do. When I enter the department, coming to do a transaction, at least he'll look and he'll have a conversation with me, and he asks, "Oh, what are you here for? Who are you coming to see?" And he'll see, "Oh, don't worry, I'll help. I'll put it there for you." That kind of thing. Like, work on the kind of social organizations you are in. Talk to people. Even if you won't talk, just be there. Just be present. You understand? And these things will work out for you. Okay, great. I've invited Edwin up. Edwin is a good friend. I mean, we share a mutual friend of Edem. And Edwin was here some weeks ago talking about, migration, and it's good to see him in the audience today. Edwin, you want to share some thoughts on this topic?
Hi, yeah. I just wanted to buttress on the point you made about the public speaking. So my experience was at first, and Adam also just joined. I think Adam was the one who actually helped me in that regard, because when I think maybe 10 years ago, because we go to the same church in Ghana, and then at the time he was the one making the announcements after church, and he for some reason he wanted me to start doing it, so he put me on that platform. So then every time after church I had to make the announcements. So that was one of the instances that helped me to build my confidence in front of speaking to a large audience. And then when I went to I think I was university at the time, but around the third year in KNUST, I ran for a position for financial secretary for a student organization. And so with that platform also, I was kind of at the time I didn't know I would be forced to speak in front of large audiences, but then it came to a time where I had to do it, if the president and vice president were not available. And then it just picked up from there. I had to just keep on doing that more often. So it helped me to really build confidence to a point where now I don't really care if I'm talking to someone in public. Even now at work too, I do presentations in front of very large audiences. And even last week I had to do a presentation. And then my manager came back and he was like, "Oh, everyone really liked your work. You really explained it really well. And they wanted me to do it again in 2 weeks' time." So starting off small really helps. If you you just have to try to find an avenue to build that confidence, and it helps to also build your network with that regard as well. So I think it's something we should all just try to focus on in our professional lives. That's just what I wanted to add.
Thank you, Edwin. That's a very good point. And soon, in a few months, we'll hear that, Charlie, you've gone to give more presentations at higher and higher level. Then we go here. No, Edwin is the CEO of the company. It's some of these little things, man. Some of these little things, and we build the rep. So, like Edwin said, find small ways of building the confidence. Okay, great. Thanks for bringing that up. Adam, Charlie, people are giving you fans, so Charlie, so if you fit to pull up here, and also, this idea of when you talked about Adam inviting you to speak at that point, sometimes we'll have people in our churches or at work who want to give us the platform, but we think they are worrying us.
Mhm.
Charlie, they are not worrying us, they are trying to help us. So embrace it. Maybe you won't initiate it, but when you see someone trying to help you, you just accept it. You just do one, and you realize that it's not that big a deal. And then number two come, 3, 4, 5. Then you then get to a point you can't count again. So the reps will come. All right, just open yourself up to do that. Let me circle back to Mimi. Sarah, how about you? Any other tips for building and managing a network, Mimi?
I was saying that as a deacon's wife, if you come to church to network, we'll call you. Altar call, we'll call you. Anyway.
This one. So yeah, you are warning the people who are going to come to church with nefarious goals.
Yes,
Please,
yes.
No worries. At least
We
they
are
came and you
doing
can save them.
what we call deep sea fishing.
Interesting.
Anyway, I think a lot has been said. For me, I think that sometimes taking advantage of these opportunities help you to deal with rejection, which is the number one reason why people don't like to speak publicly. Today, so I'm an intercessor at church, and today I was praying. I was part of the program, and one thing I noticed is that as soon as I started praying, you would expect that you are using energy, so you get the same energy. But sometimes there's a way the crowd or the audience can just mess you up if you are not careful. So just, even with intercession, just standing there and getting that bad energy and refocusing and still giving the energy, it's all these little things, help with public speaking. And you spoke about the workplace. I think that generally, like yesterday, I was discussing with my mentee about the workplace, and she was telling me about some negative, things she said. And I realized that sometimes, because of these negative things we hear, which is very normal, I don't think employees are ever happy. Well, I don't know. I'm yet to see happy employees, but most of the time they have one or two things to complain about. And if you are not careful and you get caught up in those things, you wouldn't use some of the opportunities available in the institution to be able to put yourself out there. So when you were talking about sometimes opportunities are given, I've had to beg people, to speak and do. And because among their friends, they've all decided that we want to do our barest minimum, they wouldn't take advantage of it. Yet when other people take advantage of it and then improve, they wouldn't they don't appreciate those little things that consistently doing some of these little things makes you visible, improves your skill set. So while we are in Ghana and most of us are complaining about our employers, let's just make sure that we don't still take advantage of opportunities, and don't let that negative energy prevent you from taking advantage of some of these opportunities that may present itself, even if the employer is negative. I mean, even if the employer is annoying, because at the end of the day, you are developing yourself, for your future.
Charlie, Mimi, this bars you have dropped, this table you have shook. Well, you say you never saw a happy employee. Me, when I was working under Pani and Deborah, I was a very, very happy camper. Yes. Go and tell them I said this. anyway. But yeah, it's this point really hits home for me because 2 weeks ago, or I think it was actually just last week, I was talking to my younger cousin, and he's just about to start national service, and he was asking for advice to start. And I talked a whole bunch, but I got to a point that when I was talking about something about positivity in the workplace, and I said, "See, in fact, ignore if you want to ignore everything I've said. There's one thing you can't ignore. Do not be negative. We all know it is bad. We all know the decisions that the manager made. You are scratching our heads. We all know we are tired. We all know wish they could double our salary. We all know. Do not be the negative person. Never say something negative about your manager. Never, ever say something negative about your manager. In fact, don't say anything negative about other people in the office. You can think it, don't. If you have something negative to say, think about it as how can I say this as constructive feedback, and say it directly to that person if you can build that rapport with that person. If you can't, my brother, my sister, shut the F up. You do not want to be among those people. Those people are negative. They are blood sucking. They suck all the energy out of the atmosphere. You want to be the kind of person who goes to your manager with solutions to problems. And if you can't be that person, I repeat, keep quiet. If people around you are gossiping, walk away. If the desk is fixed, you can't move your desk. Just nod. Change J or I and get back to work. Let them rather say that, hey, this guy, he's always you are always serious doing your work. Let that be the comments they will say about you than to be the person that they will be gossiping with. Because guess what? If they do it with you, they will do it against you. And they will make up a whole lot of stuff. In fact, sometimes you don't even need to say anything when you're around these people. But if your manager keeps seeing you around the people who are notoriously negative, why won't the person think you are the same? Why would the person give you opportunities? No. But when they see that you are different, they will not, and then they will know that they should give you opportunities. I had this experience, my previous firm, the CEO once said something. He said something about me and he was like, see, he knows everybody says on in the corridors. He hears it, and his office is near some stairs. It's just, and the acoustics, it just makes it easy for him to hear things. But he said, one of the things he liked about me is when I disagree with him, I come and have that conversation with him. And many times we've disagreed. Many times we disagreed. There have been times when I went to him and I told him, Master, me, I'm leaving. You know, there have been times like that. But the thing is, if you when you are not not negative, okay, and you show that you care, you acknowledge that, oh, boss, I know that there's a problem, but have we considered this solution, that solution? And the person can tell you, yeah, I've considered it, but you see, there's this other angle that you're not thinking about, like this, like this. Then now you are joining the person in their thought process. Every manager wants a situation that when they go on leave, they don't have to watch their back. They can go and sleep soundly. That is one of the things that they can say about you. Oh, Charlie, this person, he thinks highly. And let's be frank. Who handles your review? It's your manager. So what business do you have talking negatively about these people? Also, chances are your work is going to be so difficult that being negative and having negative energy around you will just make it even more draining. So please don't do it. When you are positive, it helps with your networking. Keep your negativity in your head. Try to channel that energy into problem solving. All right. So if you didn't hear anything from me, please don't be negative. I know it's tough. But Charlie, when you master it, you'll be fine. All right, you'll be fine. Okay. So Sarah, how about you? Any points? And then we start wrapping up our conversation about connections and networking in Ghana. And you see, do you have any more pointers for us about how to build our networks? Okay, we'll circle back to Seram. Something I just want to touch on is also being an expert. Like we are talking about networking and all that, but you can't go wrong with being an expert. You can't go wrong with being proficient at what you do. You can't go wrong with being the best at what you do. I'm not saying it's enough because there's also the networking part, but when people are in a situation where they have to defer to your authority, they have to defer to your opinion, they have to defer to listen to you because you are the guy, you are the lady in charge of this thing. What does that help with your networking? People come to you. You don't even have to go seeking people. People come to you with their pen and notepad, coming to listen to you. That's another way you can boost it. So how do you build that? Read up. If there are professional exams you need to be taking, take them. If there are people senior to you or more experienced, learn from them. Become so good at what you do that people can't ignore you. And people come to you for advice. You understand? People come to you to listen to you. So I think you can't go wrong with that. Also, when you have an expert's opinion and you go for some of these meetings, you speak up. You when you get to that point, it's very hard for you to keep quiet when you feel like you can offer an opinion on something. So you see, there are so many ways you benefit by just being an expert. And I strongly encourage you, learn as much as possible, improve your work, keep practicing, always want to do better, and also train other people. As you're an expert, you are training other people. What's that helping you to do? Is building a certain network of people that are younger than you who can defer their authority or their expertise to you. Like, you know, when people get a new job or they start doing their masters or something, they write a long LinkedIn post. Well, my LinkedIn post, for me, it was all about the people who've helped me, because anyone can read a book, but the people who trained me, the people who pushed me are really the ones who made a difference. So you want to be that kind of person in people's lives. It's true you want to network up to just the big bosses and all those things, but imagine that you are friends with Dennis, and maybe for some reason Dennis is close to a certain lecturer because he just finished school and he's close to a lecturer, and that lecturer was talking about something, so he can connect you to that lecturer who connects you to some big man somewhere, and you get some opportunity. So when we think about networking, don't think only up and your peers, the people below you too, they can help you a lot, make an impact in people's lives. Maybe talking about that mutually beneficial relationship. Okay, all right. So yeah, we've talked about connections and networking in Ghana. We know that some connections that people are enjoying, like Mimi put it, it looks like people getting benefits that they do not deserve or they've not earned or is unmerited, right? But if sometimes the fact is connections that their parents have built, their friends have built over time, and the connection parts, like Sayram said, is the result of all that networking. So we need to build that network. If we weren't born into rich homes, at least when we are dying, we can make sure that we are rich and we've made rich homes for our children. So do put in these efforts to take networking seriously. I'll just go around to see if anyone has any wrapping up points to make. Mimi.
Yeah, I mean, the past few years have taught me that networking is very important. In fact, I'm moving on in my career, and it's as a result of networking because I was part of. I joined part. I joined a group where the thing was shared. I applied, and I got in. So I think we can't underestimate the power of networking. Very, very important. Having the right people around you. Sometimes it can even bring out things in you that you don't even know exist. So it's very important that we network. And how to do it, there are different ways of going about it. I remember Sayram, I've seen her on Talkative Mom's platform. I sent her, what do you call it, a DM on IG. And that's how we started it. Elihem, well, how did we meet? Clubhouse. I followed Desmond Bredu to his page. We had fun there. He came to my what do you call that thing? Is it club or room or whatever?
Room.
And then we took it. So now it's even online. Like you don't have to wear Shaddai and go and sit somewhere and pay big money. You get it. It's even online. So let's take advantage of the opportunities that we have. You never know. At the time that I got to know Sayram, I never knew that we would do investment friends together. At the time I got to know Eddie I never knew he would influence me positively or be the driving force behind Money Convos. So you never know. So once you find people that you have something in common or you feel like you can pick something from, invest time and energy, because sometimes we do go to the right places, meet the right people, but we are, you won't call the person, but they are, you won't wish, you won't do anything, and it doesn't help. So let's invest time, energy, resources into those relationships that we think will be beneficial. And let's also not just look at drawing from somebody, but how can we also add value, to their lives.
Charlie, Mimi, what can I say more? The bars that you've dropped there is true. Like, look at us here on Money Convos. It's just evidence of networking. Who knew Edem? Edem just walked into the room. Who did I, like you said, did I know you? Danielle. Like, all these people, it's just been networking. How did we find Dennis? We asked, I think, was it? I asked someone, and the person, Samuel, I think. Like, everything we are doing right now is all networking, and people are getting to benefit from this. People can go and listen to our podcast, our past conversations, all because we all got out of our comfort zones and spoke up a little to another person. So yeah, Mimi, all the points you have made is very true. There's certain benefits I've gotten from Mimi. I'm too shy. I have to tell Mimi this benefit one-on-one before I come and tell it in public. So Mimi, let's have a tete-a-tete this week. Then I'll come back and tell people the benefits, the network benefits I've got from Mimi. You understand? Anyway. So that was a good point and good summary of what we've discussed. Sarah, are you there? Okay, I think we may have lost Sayram a bit. Edwin, since we have you up here, any wrap-up points that you want to remind people about on networking?
I think Mimi and Serum captured almost everything that I had in mind as well. And I've also learned a lot from this discussion. But I just remember the quote that my dad used to say. He was always saying, who you know is better than what you know. And at first I didn't really understand, but I'm beginning to actually see that he is actually very right about that, because I used to be someone that was always based up like merit and just knowing as much as possible. Like you should be really be good at what you're doing, which is still true. But then I've realized that, especially in workplaces and here especially, sometimes it's not even about like knowing so much or being like so excellent at what you're doing, but just by being someone who knows the right people just pushes you further and faster. Like it just makes your journey to the top shorter than knowing so much. I've seen that happen a lot. So yeah, that's just something I just wanted to share. I just remembered that quote. But yeah, thanks for the invite as well.
Thank you, Edward. That's a powerful point. And the benefit is it makes your journey shorter. Definitely makes your journey shorter. Okay, great. Yeah, for me, I'll just say, guys, we know there's the negative connotation about connections in Ghana. People haven't deserved it. It is what it is. It really is what it is. But we have no excuse not to build those connections ourselves. We weren't freely gifted those connections. We may not be benefiting, but we can always build it. We can always build it and even enjoy it in our own lifetimes. And if you have no example, those of us here have given you enough examples to see that you can build these connections and benefit from them in your own time. It's not today, tomorrow kind of thing, but it happens over time. And remember that it's going to be mutually beneficial. So always be willing to add value to other people's lives. Speaking of adding value, well, I have 2 things or 3 things I could ask you to add value to the Money Convos movement. If you've not followed us and you are listening to this, follow us here on X or Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. When you get on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast, go subscribe and make sure that you can listen to the recordings. Share it with other people so that they can also find out, so that you are not the only person who becomes financially independent. Build your network. By sharing this kind of information with people, you will be building your network, right? Then when you get on Instagram, follow at investments_friend. For those of you who didn't join right from the top, when this conversation is over, you can go back and listen to like around minutes 10, 13, 15 there. Sarah gives such a great explanation about the relationship between connections and networking. That's an example of how good she and Mimi are at teaching. So when you get on Instagram, follow at investment_friend, and you get more of such content there. They explain things very well, and it even gets closer. Here at Money Convos, we speak more generally, but at Investment Friend, they are your friend. They would give you they would look at your situation, ask you some questions, get to understand what's going on with you, and then make some suggestions to you about what would help you one-on-one. There are a lot of fun challenges that go on there that can help you build the reps towards achieving your financial independence. So get on Instagram at investments_friend. Follow and share with other people so that they know about it. All right. And the last thing I'll do is, hey, again, mutually beneficial. If you know anyone who would like to help, like volunteer, there are a few tasks that we want to do for Money Convos. Very light lifting. If you know anyone who wants some kind of internship experience or something, maybe someone doing national service, please let the person reach out. Of course, it's unpaid, but then just things that we can do to spread the word about financial literacy and self-development. We'd like to get some help on that too. So yeah, great. Thank you all for listening. As we go into this week, we appreciate you spending your Sunday nights with us, and we hope that as you are thinking about how you can be productive this week, you think about networks. You think about how you can position yourself productively and strategically, and how you can be help add value to other people's lives, so that eventually you have all the connections to make sure that you have a good, successful career and life. Thank you so much. Have a great week, and do take care. Catch you next week, Sunday, 8 p.m. Bye.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our thoughts. I hope you learned a thing or two and start practicing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook. And subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Do tell a friend about Money Convos so we all become wealthy together. Talk to you soon. Bye.